Hello, welcome. I'm glad that you're here with us as we continue our chronological read through of the Bible. Today we get a little bit of a hiccup, I guess you would say. Chapters 35 and 36 of our reading are not in strict chronological order, with the readings that we just finished or the reading that we'll be going to next. Basically, Jehoiakim was king of Judah before Zedekiah, who we had just finished reading about. It's kind of helpful to remember this as suddenly we find Jeremiah, who before yesterday was in prison, is today free to travel about. And even more, we're going to read about his arrest under Zedekiah. So, what's happening here is for some reason or other, we are stepping back for two chapters in time. Prior to the days of Zedekiah, when Jehoiakim was ruling Judah, God told Jeremiah to invite a certain family to come and dine with him, and he specified that he should offer them wine. Well, the family came, but they refused to drink any wine, citing a covenant that they had made with their father. Now, God tells Jeremiah then to use this as an example of faithfulness and to call out Judah for being unfaithful to the covenant that they had made with God. Now, in the fourth year of Jehoiakim's 11-year reign, God told Jeremiah to write on a scroll all of the prophecies that foretold the destruction of Jerusalem by Babylon because of Jerusalem's sin. This he did. And he had his scribe Baruch read this to the people. Certain people heard it, they became very concerned, and they arranged for it to be read before some of the rulers, who then took it to the king, or at least made the king aware of it, after assuring that Jeremiah and Baruch were safely hidden someplace. Bit by bit, the scroll was read to the king, and bit by bit, King Jehoiakim tore it off and burned it in the fire till it was all gone. So the Lord told Jeremiah to write it out again, and this time to add to it the punishment that he had declared on Jehoiakim for despising his word and being unwilling to hear it. Now, in chapter 37, we are going to return to the time of King Zedekiah. So we jump forward a few years. King Zedekiah inquired of God through Jeremiah what would happen. Jeremiah told him, the Chaldeans, the Babylonians, are going to conquer Jerusalem. They're going to destroy it. He shouldn't listen to the false prophets who say that everything is fine. And he noted that even if Zedekiah were to beat Babylon's army, the wounded that were left would carry out the destruction that God had decreed. When the Chaldean army withdrew for a period of time, they had made a siege on the city, and then the Egyptians, I believe the Egyptians were making an advance, so the Chaldean army backed off for a while. Then the Egyptians returned home. Chaldeans came back, but anyway, when the Chaldean army withdrew for a period of time, Jeremiah tried to leave Jerusalem to receive his portion. We're not exactly sure what that means, but maybe it was to check on the property that he had purchased at God's command a little bit earlier. Anyway, a guard arrested him, accused him of fleeing into the hands of the Babylonians. Eventually, Jeremiah was called before King Zedekiah, where he once again declared the punishment that was coming on Jerusalem. He also asked the king to change where he was being held as a prisoner because he feared for his life where he had been. The king granted his request, and Jeremiah received a daily ration of bread, which actually was a generous thing for the times, until the supply of bread for all of the city ran out. Once again, I pray that our time together is helpful, especially on a day like today when things get a little bit garbled up and it might be otherwise easy to be confused about what was going on. I look forward to gathering with you again the next time.